your three keys to success?
Talk to more people, meet with more people, and build skills. Talk to more people, meet with more people, and build your skills. So I can expound on it further. When it comes to talking to more people, I know a lot of agents, like if you're an agent right now, you're trying to sustain or build your business in today's market, you should know how many people you're talking to per day on average. You got to track your numbers, right? So take the action, but make sure
you don't measure it, you can't improve it.
100%, right? And you can't be coached on it.
That's right.
That's if you're putting your coach in handcuffs.
That's right.
So make sure you're tracking your numbers. So if you are, let's say you're averaging 5 conversations a day. In today's market, I want you to do this. Number one, if you have a family, I want you to go to your family. I want you to sit down with them. I want you to show them your numbers and the results that your current numbers are getting you. And I want you to ask your family, is it okay if over the next 3 months that daddy, if you have kids and if you're a man or a wife, if your spouse will allow you for the season to put in more work, which means there could be less time to spend with family, but it's by design. And if they give you that blessing, now it's up to you to take the action. If you're averaging 5 conversations, you need to get to 10. You need to get to 15 per day. That's number one. Number two is, and this should happen organically, is if you're talking to more people, you should then meet with more people. So when you're meeting with people,
let's unpack that. Okay. Let's unpack number one first. That's so good.
Okay.
Like whenever you say go and get your family's involvement, I think there's 2 parts that I want to unpack. Number one, when is the last time most agents have took a body of work? Let's go to the last 3 months, the last 6 months. Unpack all of your numbers that you've been tracking and let's put them on the table and let's see where we stand. Let's grade ourselves on our performance. Let's watch our game film of this activity produced this result. Where is the gaps? Where can we grow? Where can we improve? First and foremost, you said that without saying that. I want to make that clear that you have to be able to watch your own game film and find those gaps in your performance so you have room for growth. The growth is in the gaps. So where are the gaps so you can grow? It can be a skill set gap. It can be an activity gap. There's multiple gaps. So where's your biggest gap? Where can you improve? Second is sit down with your family. Dude, this is a personal story for me. I remember getting started in real estate. My story was, dude, I was completely broke, 3 months behind on my electric bill, had a 6-week-old baby at home. My wife had 2 emergency surgeries, was on her deathbed. Like it was dire straits. I went from completely broke to thankfully my wife pulled through. Everything is now great. We have 2 beautiful kids, like amazing. All of it worked out. But during those tough times, I did not see my daughter for a year and a half unless she was sleeping. Now I'm exaggerating. Were there times I saw her? Sure. But there was more times where daddy was working. I had to go build something because I was never going back. I have that work ethic. I'm willing to do that, but I also have to draw boundaries. And so now I fast forward to right now in this marketplace. And I've done this throughout my journey. And so no matter where you're at in your journey, whether you're an agent that's just getting started, you're somewhat successful, you want to take it to the next level, you want to build a team, wherever you're at in your journey, it is your story. But I think the importance is at multiple times during my story, I've sat down and talked with my family and I've got them involved. And so what do I mean by getting them involved? As an example, I've got 6 trips planned, will be 8 by the end of the year, between now and the end of the year. I'm going to be spending a lot of time away from my family. I work a lot of hours. I wake up at 4:35 a.m. Sometimes I don't get home until after the kids are in bed. It's just part of my life. I just work a lot. I love what I do. I love to help people. And so I put in a lot of hours. So I do what I can to get my family involved in that, but I also don't want my kids to have a negative connotation in work. So what do I tell them that daddy's work does? We help people. We help people change their lives. We help people where they can buy a house. There's people that don't have a roof over their head. They need daddy's help. There's people that don't see all this food in the fridge, see all these clothes that you got for school. There's people that don't have that. And I'm going to go help them get that for themselves. And that's the language that I speak to my kids. And so now they don't think, well, daddy's going to work. Daddy's going to help people. And now they miss me, but literally I'll do a FaceTime from like a hotel room at an event or something. And they'll be like, hey, how many people did you help today, Dad? right? Like that's the conversations that we have. And so all of that has been done intentionally. And so I think it's really important that people do that. But I also think that, like, let's say that you sit down and you're like, hey, here's the result that we've had, and daddy's going to have to do more work. Mommy's going to have to do more work. Me as a husband, as a spouse, as whatever your situation is, whoever you have this conversation with is going to have to spend more time doing more work to get the result that we desire. Get their buy-in, be upfront and honest before, not after. And if you get them, you develop the plan and they are bought into the plan, it makes that journey way easier. You don't have the guilt, you have their support, and you're in it together. And it makes a world of difference when you're trying to build something, you're trying to do something during tough times. If you don't have the people you love the most supporting you, it makes it 10 times harder. And most of the time, it's not that those people don't want to support you. It's that they don't understand why you're doing it. And they feel like you are letting them down and you are not putting them as a priority. But if you have the conversation and say, I'm putting you so much as a priority, here's what I need to do so we can do this. And you have their buy-in and their support, it makes it 10 times easier.
I love that. It makes me think about when I first got into real estate. A big reason why I helped 31 families my first year, was able to help 45 the second, to go up to 50. And I kept going is because my greatest accountability partners were my kids.
Yep.
I told them that, and they were old enough to where they knew what Disney World was. And I told them every single day, because when I came into real estate, I had we call it a conversation goal. Like I had to talk to a certain amount of people per day. And I asked my kids, I said, every single day when dad comes home, I want you to ask me, Daddy, did you talk to 25 people so we can go to Disney World? And I made a commitment. We're going to go to Disney World by this time.
Yep.
Hold me accountable. So imagine coming home and your family is that bought in. And the kids are excited because they know that by daddy helping people, like Matt said, I also get to go to Disney World. They're going to be invested. And that's all the motivation that you need. I think what you mentioned, a lot of us don't understand the why behind it. Yeah. Us as the agent, we don't understand why we wake up and we come to work and we get rejected on the phone and we put on, but then if your family doesn't understand it either, there's going to be a disconnect. Imagine if both of you combined together, we're all on the same page. I'm telling you, it makes a major impact. And we're both telling you this, not from theory, but he just shared his example and I just shared mine. This has made a major impact in our lives. So that would be the first thing.
Well, not even only on the days that you need the accountability, but let's say that you have a bad day. You have a tough day. You have a day where you're like, what is this even worth it? I'm sure you've had these days like, I don't even know if this is worth it anymore. I'm thinking about throwing in the towel. Instead of that spouse, that kid, that support system in your life being like, it's about time. I've wanted you to spend more time with me. Instead of them doing that, by having this conversation, they're like, no, we had a plan. We had a goal. I'm not going to let you let yourself down. And they help you get back on track when you like, imagine the power of that. Like a quick example of a story of that is I've done 75 hard 4 times. It's a mental toughness challenge. If you're interested in that, I did an episode on that. Go back and find it and listen. It can absolutely transform the trajectory of your life. It is that powerful of a program and it costs you nothing. However, my first time doing it, I was drinking 5 nights a week at least. I was not healthy. I was out of shape. I was depressed. I was a busy business owner that all I knew was work. I was just detached from life. I was 45 pounds overweight. It was just, I was not in a good spot. I said, I need something to get me back on track. And I'm an extremist, right? And so I needed to find something to be obsessed with. And so I found the hardest challenge I could find and said, this is what I'm going to do. I did it. I committed to it. I went there. I was on day 50 something. And I remember going to my wife and I said, I can't do this anymore. It's tough. I feel terrible. I'm not giving what I need to give to you. I'm not giving what I need to give to my kids. I'm not giving what I need to give to work. This stupid program is doing nothing but breaking me down and taking me away from the things that are important to me in life. And because she was on the same page and she understood why I was doing it, she said, stop. Like I get emotional thinking about this. Like this was a pivotal moment for me. She said, you are the best husband you have been in 3 years. You are the best dad that you've ever been. And look at all these people that are supporting you, watching you in your journey. You owe it to yourself and them to finish. I'm not going to let you quit. Imagine having that level of support by people in your life on your journey, your version of 75 hard, your version of those 10 conversations a day. Are you more likely to accomplish your goals and dreams now? 100%. That's the power of the first thing that Anthwon said. That's why I wanted to break that down.
Hey, that's great. Man. So number one, it's number one because it's the most important.
Yep.
Number two is meet with more people. And this is something that we've been really rolling out extremely aggressive, like over the past couple of weeks, is when you meet with people, are you providing value? Like, what are you presenting? Are you presenting anything to these people? And do you have the ability to articulate your value? Because there's tons of agents. I heard in Arizona, out of every 7 people, 1 person has their license. It's like crazy out there, right? It's not that crazy here in Indiana, but I know every single person we talk to knows at least 1 or 2 agents.
Yep.
So when you meet with these people, make sure you're bringing some value and they feel comfortable and confident to work with you.
Not just bringing that value, but you're able to articulate that value.
Yes.
Here's a writer downer for everyone listening. Value unarticulated is value unappreciated. If you want people to appreciate the value you provide, you have to become a great communicator and articulate that value on the radio frequency that everyone operates on. And that is WIFM. What's in it for me? What is your value doing to help them in their lives? And if you are not an expert at articulating that value, it will never, ever be appreciated.
Yes. And that leads me into number 3 is build skills masterfully. Like you gotta build skills, but you don't get to building the skills if you're not getting the reps in. A lot of people, this goes back to the very beginning of this podcast where we talked about like you got to be a lifelong learner, but you also got to take action too, right? If you try to learn all these scripts and do all the stuff, but you're not taking action, if you try to learn this presentation, but you're not taking action, you're never going to get to present to a lot of people. It's the context, it's the experience that helps you build the skills, right? And then getting feedback on it. So build the skills. And actually, we touched on this yesterday. When you talk to people and you're building the skills, you got to learn how to close. You got to learn how to be able to move that ball down the field. You got to help these people make a decision. You're not helping them necessarily, like you're not making them do something they don't want to do, but you're helping them make an informed decision. And that comes from being able to have skills, articulate value, and then close. That's something that, I love sales skills and stuff like that. We teached on yesterday. I don't know if I should give the magic formula on the podcast, man. But there's a technique. You're
a contributor, man. I know I can't stop you now. You're gonna do it.
Hey, there's a technique that I taught the team yesterday. It's something that I came up with, and it's called the scorpion technique. And you got to be able to help close people to move forward and take an action. Give them the confidence to be able to take action. For example, let's say that I'm talking to Matt. Matt's a buyer. Matt says, I don't want to make a move because of interest rates. And I say, you know what, Matt? That's a common concern most people that I talk to have. And what I really hear you saying is you're committed to making the best financial decision for you and your family. Is that what you're saying? That's what we call a level shift. Matt will say, well, yeah, everybody wants to make a smart financial decision for them and their families. So then I say, well, Matt, that's exactly why people like you hire my team and I. We specialize in helping people in your situation make smart financial decisions when it comes to buying homes. And that is what you want, correct? Matt says, yes. Matt, and you did mention that you want to get moved to Kansas by summertime, right? Yes. Matt, if there was a way, number one, that we can help find you off-market opportunities that will help you save money and be able to give you an action plan, a strategy that's going to help you be able to find a home in less hassle, less time, would it be worth meeting with me for 10, 15 minutes? Yeah, sure. It would. If you don't know how to close and you wait for them to just say, oh my God, take me. You're not going to help a lot of people. Dude, so if you do that's the scorpion technique. That is the scorpion technique. So if you're going to use it, all I ask is that you give a shout out to Matt and myself as to where you heard it. That's all I ask.
I love it, dude. I love it. So there's so much there inside of that close. That dialogue was stellar, is on point. It was amazing. there's a couple things I want to point out for when people are going to close. Closing has a bad rap in sales. That's because people have bad intentions. So I used to say in my organization, we don't sell people, we help people. I now have corrected that. People don't need sold. They don't need helped in this marketplace. They need led. They need you to be the leader to help them make an educated and informed decision for themselves and their family. If we rely on the pandemic market mindset of we are order takers as real estate agents, we are going to be left behind. It is our job to facilitate an environment to get them to say yes to what is in their best interest. So again, like I said, it's in their best interest. And it's not manipulation, it is influence. It is helping them remove the barriers, remove the obstacles, remove the impediments that are in their way of making an educated and informed decision for themselves. Sometimes they just need led through that process. And Anthwon displayed that beautifully. He got them to say yes multiple times, got rid of the sales skepticism, reinsured confidence, got rid of the doubt. And then he has a plan for a meeting to build a plan. That's all he did. That was the close. The close wasn't, hey, sign here. The close was, I need to meet with you so I can see how I can help you further.
Yes.
Right. And I think there's a difference there. And I think it's important that dude, that was great. And I think people should absolutely steal that. But I just wanted to break that down from my perspective a little.
Yeah, I told the team yesterday, the difference between help and manipulation is intention.
Yep.
Everybody here has in their heart, they want to help people because otherwise you wouldn't be on this team.
Yep.
So the way, and that's where the name Silver Lining comes from in our Silver Lining Real Estate Group is putting people over profits. It's being the silver lining in a broken industry like real estate. How can we raise the standards of our industry? And I know we can't change the world overnight, but we can start in our community. How can we increase the standards of the quality of service that people in our community are getting from the real estate industry? Well, we can do that by just making a decision and committing to those new standards. And we're going to be that silver lining.
Dude, I
so
love
people,
it.
yeah, that's what it's about.
Yeah, that's why you're building a great culture. That's why people are jumping in the middle of traffic to join you. I'm looking at some numbers, some notes that I took here. Why I say that is, again, I have a behind the curtains look at your organization. And I asked you 2-ish weeks ago, hey, send me your recruiting numbers for the year. And as an example, Anthwon has met with 112 people as of 2 weeks ago that are interested in joining his real estate team in the middle of cornfields in small town Indiana, right? So it's, what's your excuse? What is your limiting belief? And I think that it's, are you articulating the value? Are you building a culture? Are you actually leading people and helping people? Do you have an opportunity to provide to them? And I think that we have to make sure we get out of our own way and realize that sometimes our mindset limits us from growing when we don't even realize it. And there's a lot of people that would love to have your recruiting numbers that you have in big cities, right? Like let's use Arizona as an example. 1 out of 7 people have a real estate license. That's not the market you're in, but you haven't let that stop you from meeting with 112 people that want to join your team as a real estate agent.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there's a lot to that.